Hey guys, Angel here with my daily progress log. So today I got the full 1.2 version of MMO Starter Kit installed in a new directory. So I started completely fresh after yesterday. What I did was I worked out the kinks in getting it to just run, and now I made a new copy and copied over. I used Git quite a bit. I had to install it and then use Git and save everything and then have it build the from the source, and then I added that to the Git ignore, and after that I went back into my old project and I migrated the MMO directory, uh, blueprints directory. Yeah, the MMO blueprints directory. This MMO directory here. I migrated it out and into this one along with the character system and power system directories. So those are all in there, and what it did was these two weren't in there originally, but this directory was. So now I have comparisons with the new version of MMO Starter Kit with my customized code running on top of it. So that allows me to diff and check very quickly what needs to be changed, what changed, and what changes I made that need to be left behind. So I can do that. I already did MMO character. I have it not checked out from it's checked out from the source control, and I'm doing them one at a time. And each time I do a new one, I check that in separately with the fact that I updated it and now it's working properly. Not working properly, but it's the best it's going to be when I finally hit play after I'm done with all this. We'll see what happens then, but basically I just right click and go to source control diff against depot, and here we are with it's off the screen. Darn it. Give me drag. There we go. All right, make that big. So we've got our diff, and we can actually zoom in and see what nodes were removed. This is the original copy, and this is my copy. So let's see what in combat with. That's something new that I'm going to have to add. Let's see what else here. Assigning targets. You can see that set visibility moved a little bit. Yeah, he changed a couple of things there. Let's see, assign target client. Oh, that's because I did the targeting separately. So some of this I'm going to have to go through, and I see a couple of warnings here. Important for standalone to work. I don't know why. But that's basically what I've been doing today, because I can take this, put it up in the other window on my other monitor, and then I just open up the project, and there it is. So let's just to show you something really interesting that I found out is let's put it. It's hard to see with such a limited screen space. That's the only problem with uploading these things to YouTube. I just lost it. Alright. Alright, so here we are. Event begin play. Disconnected health. Basically, when I make a change here, it shows up in real time on this side of the graph, so I can actually compare the two and just manually copy. I can actually grab things from this graph. I can't, it's read only, but I can still grab stuff from it, usually. It's sticking me around right now. There we go. I can select nodes from that graph and copy them onto the graph I'm working on. So that's what I've been doing. I've been updating, and I've already done it with MMO character. Where is that? That's one of the main ones. And what did I do? Oh, the screen is really bugging me. But here is diff against depot with the MMO character. All right, and it looks like it's not diffing against the first version. Let me see here. I'll open it again, and then we can pull down diff, and now I can see. Okay, there's my original revision, and these are all the changes I made. So you can see the original vanilla version doesn't have all this stuff that adds in the character system. The power system and the event graph is quite a bit different, because you'll notice these get player characters, and this was a problem I found when I was working with the script for the character system, that if you just look for player character 0, that's all you're going to get. You're never this number is never going to change, and it's always going to get just this character. So what I changed it to is locally controlled, because this basically is a control function. So event actor begin cursor over, it gets the player character, which, you know, it's fine if it's a single player game because there's only one character, but in a multiplayer game, you know, we don't know what the character is. So it's basically just comparing, is the player character the same as this blueprint itself? And if they're not the same, then do this. Set the highlight so that when you mouse over the target, it changes color when you mouse over it. So I changed that to is locally controlled, and that basically replaced this whole function, but it reverses it, because is locally controlled is true. If is locally controlled is true, that means that self and player character are equal, which would make it exit out. But since we want the reverse of that, we want the false to be what happens. So basically, if the player we're highlighting, mousing over, isn't the main player, then do this. So I replaced that in a couple of different places. Is locally controlled. You can see it being used again. And there were quite a few other changes. I also made things a bit neater. You can see how kind of ugly that looks with all the lines going everywhere and just kind of jumbled around. I neatened it up, and I made the lines. I brought off pin nodes here and made the lines a bit easier to follow so that it's easier to read. And let's see, yep, the MMO instance gets the chat widget, so there's no need for this macro instance call. And then attack FX, and that is added here. This is something that I had to add from this side, so I grabbed this and I dropped it into my blueprint, and there it is. That replaced a whole other section of code. So that's basically what I've been doing, is going through and just making sure everything is pretty much matching up if it needs to be. So yeah, and now I'm getting hungry, so I'm going to go get some dinner, and I will talk to you guys later.